So season 3 is gonna be a banger if the after the credits scene is anything to go off of. Seemingly, the concept, I guess the question is, the genius versus the fake genius, and which one of them is truly the fake or the real. I think as an anime watcher, from what we've seen, I think most people are probably gonna place their chess pieces towards Ayano. I mean, Ayano Koji he seems like the likely bet given that he turned Ryun of all characters who, if you rewind prior to the beatdown, pretty fearful guy. He really felt like he ruled with an iron fist, and it wasn't even just brute strength that got him to his W's, it's just he was so goddamn frightening. Made out to be nothing last week, and the way this man so easily turned him into a pawn, he beat him so hard he was about to ditch school because there was just no way to go out, and ultimately, a captain has to go down with his ship sort of a thing. But holy shit, to see this episode as a final hurrah, you can actually look at a good half of this episode. It was a date, the double date, there was the exchanging of gifts, there was a lot of slice of life. Not the most explosive of things, but the biggest factor is that 100% Ayano Koji is someone who very much views everyone as a tool, as a pawn to be manipulated. The thing that's interesting is how he's slowly but surely showing signs of humanity beyond that kind of emotionless glare. Yes, he admits that he basically turned our girl into the most perfect pawn, that she fully trusts in him because of he waited till the very last moment, the whole idea of breaking up their kind of pact, it just everything is now come together, that Kay would never betray him given everything that's just happened. However, he himself even catches himself in a very subtle way with the way he's speaking. You can tell from the group of friends that he made, that little study group, there's very much human elements being added to this kind of emotionless persona. And for a man who says he doesn't smile and has no reason to with the people around him, it feels like he's becoming more human despite still being this master manipulator who very much is controlling this school and now has kind of submerged from the shadows, and basically the playground is now going to get a very rude and rough awakening. I'm interested to see though because, I really thought Ryun was just going to leave because the way they were starting it up, it just felt like they were removing him from the equation, and it made sense given what happened. But I love how Ayano just made sure, because this man is still useful to him. So now that the cat's out of the bag for him, the way he beat him down, I love the fact that he was able to rope him back in, and most likely will be able to use him quite well as he casually reveals about who he wants to get expelled, saying how they'll get bumped up probably to Class C, but very quickly will probably get bumped back down to Class D given the expulsion and everything like that. There's just so many breadcrumbs that this episode lays out as they casually just have him go on a double date. And honestly, it was kind of cute, if not a little hilarious, because there's this one scene, it's when they were going to the movies, you see her crying because obviously something sad happened, and he's just glaring at the screen showing no emotion. If that isn't the best image that represents this man and his social activities in terms of how he interacts with everything, I don't know what's better than that right there. The thing I like though is how I wasn't quite expecting him to turn her down in the way that he did. I thought either it would be way more cold and ruthless, or he would say yes because he could use her for some way, shape, and form, and then he would break her heart. Instead, he basically just shuts it down in a very just blunt way, I couldn't be in a relationship with you because I feel nothing for you. And it's not like he just says it specifically about her. He's like, I feel nothing for no one, more or less. And as you also have our girl just kind of peeking in the background as they exchange their gifts. It's interesting because when you look at what he's done this season, he very much has been a cold and ruthless player. He's been manipulating things so well. Look at everything that happened last week. He very much could have solved that a lot quicker, but he didn't because he wanted her to obviously break more so that she would be the perfect pawn in his plans going forward. The thing that gets me is that there's been these very subtle signs. Not saying that he's changed and he's more human or he feels these emotions like a normal person, but there very much is these signs that because he's left the White Room, the fact that he's interacting with a school that, as insane as it is and how not normal it is, there's certain social elements that feel very normal for what a high school student should deal with. And because of that, he is breaking out of just being completely cold and ruthless. That is still his main motivator and his main way of getting the job done. But at the end of the day, I think the general social activities that he's being surrounded with are definitely making him open up a bit more. Not in a drastic way. This is the type of guy who probably would take 10 seasons to show a real human emotion beyond just this kind of cold robotic stare. But it's interesting to see how he's been opening up over this season. especially ever since I'd say like the study group kind of got formed was really when things started taking off. And he kind of broke out of his shell, it feels like. Like, he very much enjoys that, like, hanging out with certain people there. And it's interesting to see how a guy who just really wants to experience a normal life is just continuing to throw deeper and deeper into anything but normal. And, I mean, based on the end of the episode after the credits there, Season 3, I feel like, has potential to even surpass what we saw with Season 2 with the reunion plotline, K, and everything like that. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that was really good about this season. But based on the hype of source material readers, based on what I saw quality-wise with this season, knowing Season 3 was in the production alongside it, I think we're going to have a damn fun time next year when we do get Season 3, and I mean, I'm just glad we get to see more of Ayano Koji, because ever since Season 1, I thought he was one of the more fascinating main characters. It was always a shame we didn't get to see more of him. So glad we got to see it with Season 2. And Season 3, I imagine, is going to make him even better and more frightening, if not more intriguing, is probably how I'd put it. I think overall, I really enjoyed how this show went about directing. There was a lot of dramatic glares, but it also felt like the way they would put this man in such interesting situations. Like, if you look at the confession scene as an example, right? That's a pretty romantic scene, all things considered. It's, close to Christmas, right? You have the snow falling down. Usually that's when they would hold hands, or they might hug, they might embrace each other. You can see how any romance or rom-com or any drama story would use that scene, yet it was just like they used this distance. There was this one shot where she tried to grab his hand before pulling away, and then there's the other wider shot where they're just separated. There was no warmth, there was no embrace. And those are the moments that really showcases just like how the directing of this season really got across exactly what it needed to, both with the simple moments of heartbreak, as we saw right there, to last week's episode with the brutal beatdown and the use of darkness, shadows, a little bit of light to kind of give a kind of very menacing face as he just completely wiped the floor with everyone. It's just great to see how this production, it felt like it was better from what I remember of Season 1, and given the mixed responses from source readers to anime onlys of how Season 1 was handled, I think this season definitely, I saw a lot more praise on both sides, which is a good sign for things to come. When you have a popular source material, when you have a popular anime, it's better when both sides more or less are happy with it rather than one side hating it or maybe having a lot more issues than the other side. So I'm glad that Season 2, for the most part, seems to have done what it needed to, even if obviously not everyone will agree with that statement. And I think if they continue to refine their craft like we've seen with Season 2, I don't see any reason why Season 3 couldn't surpass the quality that we saw here. I think the voice actors did a great job, the directing did a great job, and most importantly, the story and character moments did a fantastic job and leaves me very eager for more. But thoughts and feelings and theories on where you want to see Season 3 go from here, do let me know. Leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you're new around here. Until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.